A very good evening and welcome to ICU TV's main news. We now take a look at the stories making headlines. Musokotwane leaves office after 5 national budgets. Nation mourns Archbishop Emeritus Mpundu. Parliament commissions solar power system. In international news, US military aircraft loses rich billions in Iran conflict. In sports news, MTN Super League season enters final stretch. With the news in details, my name is Peter Ngelelwa. From 2022 to 2026, former Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Musokotwane, presented 5 consecutive national budgets, totaling more than 988 billion on the floor of the parliament. The budgets were implemented as Zambia works to recover from the 2020 sovereign debt default and a fiscal deficit that had risen to about 14% of the GPT during the COVID-19 era. The 2026 national budget targets a fiscal deficit of 2.1%, which would be the lowest level since 2011 if achieved. During Dr. Musokotwane's tenure, the Constituency Development Fund increased from 1.6 million to 40 million per constituency, supporting free education, social cash transfer, agriculture, infrastructure development, health service, and community projects across the country.
From this floor of Parliament, right behind me here, Dr. Musokotwane presented 5 consecutive national budgets covering the 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026 fiscal years during his tenure as Minister of Finance and National Planning.
To restructure its debts under the common framework, so to engage the creditors and successfully negotiate the debt.
Together, those budgets amounted to more than 988 billion kwacha in proposed national expenditure. That is nearly 1 trillion kwacha presented on this floor during one of Zambia's most economically defining parliamentary cycles. In 2022, Dr. Musokotwane presented 173 billion kwacha budget. 2023, he presented 167.3 billion kwacha. In 2024, he presented 177.9 billion kwacha. In 2025, he presented 217.1 billion kwacha. And in 2026, a record 253.1 billion kwacha.
Children from poor families, along with their relatives, were condemned to poverty without any hope of change into the future. This was because they had no access to education, as they could not afford to pay school fees. With the free education introduced by the UPND government, an initiative that had been considered impossible by others, the sky is now the limit.
These budgets did far more than allocate spending. They became Zambia's financial recovery framework. To understand the scale of that recovery, context matters. Zambia's fiscal deficit had remained persistently high since 2011, driven by rising debt, Eurobond borrowing, falling copper prices, and heavy infrastructure spending. Between 2012 and 2015, Zambia issued 3 Eurobonds, the 750 million United States dollars and the 1 billion United States dollars and the 1.25 billion United States dollars. Debt servicing costs accelerated sharply. External debt service payments rose from just 34 million United States dollars in 2011 to approximately 484 million United States dollars by 2016. By 2020, Zambia recorded a fiscal deficit of roughly 14% of the GDP, one of the highest in national history. That same year, Zambia became Africa's first sovereign default during the COVID-era debt crisis. When this parliamentary cycle began, Zambia was emerging from one of its most severe fiscal breakdowns. It was on this floor that budgets were presented while Zambia actively restructured unsustainable debt, restored international credibility, and rebuilt fiscal order. Through successful Musokotwane budgets, deficits were progressively narrowed from crisis levels about 8% to lower annual deficits.
President Hakainde Hichilema has expressed deep sorrow following the death of Archbishop Emeritus of Lusaka, His Grace Terefo George Mpundu. President Hichilema has conveyed heartfelt condolences to the Catholic Church in Zambia, the Archdiocese of Lusaka, the Catholic faithful across the country. The head of state described Archbishop Emeritus Mpundu as a distinguished spiritual leader who will be remembered for his humility, commitment to dialogue, peace, justice, and national unity. President Hichilema said the late prelate man made a significant contribution to the nation through his leadership and dedication to the service. Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Mote, has commissioned Parliament's 750 kilowatts solar power system to strengthen energy security and ensure reliability security supply for Parliament operations. The project will reduce dependence on diesel generators and support government's drive to adopt alternative energy solutions following the national load shedding crisis caused by the drought.
Every megawatt matters, every kilowatt matters. Parliament's new 750 kilowatt solar power system means one of Zambia's most important public institutions now has its own stable source of electricity. It is a direct response to President Hakainde Hichilema's 2024 directive that critical public institutions must secure alternative solar power systems to guarantee uninterrupted service delivery. That matters.
Passive income will be generating some little money somewhere. So this is passive income. This project is therefore not only an investment for Parliament, but also a contribution to the broader national effort towards energy security, sustainability, and community development. This reflects the National Assembly's commitment to supporting Zambia's transition to clean and renewable energy sources for the benefit of both present and future generations.
When drought weakened hydropower and load shedding hit the country, public institutions felt it too. Offices slowed down, services were disrupted, backup generators burnt expensive diesel just to keep essential systems running. Diesel is costly, fuel prices shift, maintenance is expensive. Solar cuts that burden. Now Parliament can keep critical operations running while reducing dependency on both the national grid and high-cost diesel generators.
In time, may I thank the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for the directive that he issued to us to identify the energy in the country. Madam Speaker, I'll quickly indicate that when there is no commitment at the highest level of the land, nothing moves. So for the President directing that we should by all means diversify is where we are today. If there was no commitment from the President himself, maybe we are not going to be gathered here today.
That means lower operating costs, less pressure from fuel imports, and more reliable service, printing documents, processing records, maintaining legislative work, and serving citizens cannot stop because electricity is unstable. The President's directive was clear. Public institutions must secure alternative power. Parliament has acted on that order. This installation also frees up electricity on the main grid for households, businesses, and other sectors that need it. Zambia is learning from the drought. The lesson is simple. Essential institutions must stay powered. More solar on public buildings means lower cost, stronger service delivery, and better national energy security. At Parliament, the sun is now helping keep government running.
We now take our first break. Stay tuned for more local story news.
The Information and Communications University is complementing government effort in promoting legal and safe mining for all Zambians. ICU is offering a short practical training course to artisanal and small-scale miners and those who intend to venture into mining. This training covers identification of rocks and minerals, mining operations and equipment, health and safety in mining, environmental protection, licensing and compliance, qualifications, National Registration Card NRC. Apply now at www.icuzambia.net. For more information, contact the ICU School of Mines, Department of Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining at +260 763 302 596 or +260 973 263 492. For analysis of mineral samples, contact the ICU School of Mines Laboratory at +260 973 263 492 or +260 977 833 434.
Welcome back. We're now in our local stories. Over the past 5 years, Parliament has served as a platform for continental diplomacy, economic transformation, and democratic cooperation. Heads of state from Italy, Tanzania, Burundi, Mozambique, and Ghana formally addressed the National Assembly, promoting African unity, trade, and governance. During the same period, President Hakainde Hichilema hosted more than 20 heads of state and government, a development that has helped reposition Zambia as a stable democratic partner and key player in Africa and global economic cooperation. Vice President Mutare Narumango has arrived in the Republic of Botswana to represent President Hakainde Hichilema and the people of Zambia at the state funeral of the former head of state in Botswana, Dr. Festus Kondembaye Mogai. Dr. Mogai, Botswana's third president, died earlier this month at the age of 86. The state funeral took place today, Saturday 16th of May 2026 in Gaborone. Zambia has joined Botswana and the region and the African continent in honoring Dr. Mogai for his distinguished leadership, integrity, and contribution to democratic governance and Africa's development. We take another short break. When we are back, we'll be in international news. Stay tuned for more news.
We kickstart your day with our headline pick with the top stories making news.
Then we go deeper in our story pick where we break down issues that matter the most to you.
From the Health Desk, we share simple tips to keep you healthy and informed.
Or plus a fitness minute to get your body moving before the day begins.
And trending now, what's hot on social media?
Hello Zambia, my name is Amina Mutambo.
And I am Moluwa Erje Mwalamajende, and we bring to your screens the ICU TV Breakfast Show.
We are now in international news. A new congressional report estimates that United States military aircraft losses during the Iran war have reached $2.6 billion. The report states that 42 aircraft have been lost, damaged, or destroyed since the conflict began. The losses include fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, rescue helicopters, and 24 MQ-9 Reaper drones. The report also indicates that an F-35 fighter jet may have been damaged by enemy fire for the first time since the aircraft entered the service. We are still in international news. Sierra Leone has agreed to accept up to 300 West African migrants deported from the United States each year under a new agreement with Washington. The first group of deportees is expected to arrive on May 20th and who include migrants from Senegal, Ghana, and Guinea and Nigeria. The agreement formed part of the Trump administration's efforts to speed up deportation through partnerships with African countries. However, critics have raised concerns over legal protection, human rights, and the treatment of deportees after their arrival in Sierra Leone. We take a short break. When we're back at Sports News, stay tuned. You are still watching ICU TV, and we're now in sports news. The MTN Super League has reached week 33 of the title and relegation battles intensifying across the country. Teams continue to fight for final points as the league approaches its conclusion, with competitive matches shaping the final standing. Zesco United have secured their Super League survival after a hard-fought campaign during their place in the flight next season. Attention now shifts to the remaining fixtures as the club aim to finish strongly in the 2025 to 2026 season. And that sport item draws us the end of our ICU TV Main news at 20 hours. But before we go, we'll take a quick recap of the stories making headline. Musokotwane leaves office after the 5 national budgets. Nation mourns Archdiocese Emeritus Bishop. Parliament commissions solar power system. In international news, United States military aircraft loses rich billion in Iran conflict. In sports news, MTN Super League season enters final stage. Thank you very much for watching ICU TV. Please stay glued for more news on our Facebook page at ICU TV and on our YouTube channel at ICU TV and also on our website at www.icutv.zm.com. Have a lovely evening.